that feel more like obligations than something the filmmaker is excited about staging, Wick stands out with its clever inventiveness and reverence for the Hong Kong action films of the 80s and 90s. And after a decade of action movies trying to ape the Wick style to varying degrees of success, I think it's safe to say that John Wick has had a pretty massive influence on the genre as a whole. But instead of just reviewing the latest movie, I wanted to do something a little different this week. Tell the story of how the series began, because I think it's one of the more fascinating stories in modern Hollywood. In many ways, the first John Wick was counted out by the industry before it was even released, and according to producer Basil Iwanek, the film even came close to not getting a theatrical release at all. I've already covered the career of Keanu Reeves in the past,
Enemy
so I'll try to
spotted, A.
place a link to it down below. But in this one, I really wanted to hone in specifically on that first John Wick.
Reloading.
The unique way it came about, why it had a difficult time getting released, and how it ended up surprising just about everyone.
Jonathan will find this place. You must know that.
On the surface, there's nothing all that original to the premise of John Wick. Screenwriter Derek Kolstad would probably admit that, as he says he came up with the idea from watching those revenge movies and basically Kolstad had churned through dozens of his career as a screenwriter since the early 2000s. He didn't have any major successes, but he had carved out a niche for himself. He wrote scripts for low-budget Dolph Lundgren action films like One in the Chamber and The Package, and he was still very much working in that mold.
One enemy remaining.
I read that, and it's reloading how different it is from the film that we ended up getting. For one thing, the movie was supposed to be titled Sworn and had a lot more of John Wick's backstory. Though to Kolstad's credit, a lot of the most fun and interesting elements of Wick, like the Assassin Hotel the Continental or the gold coins that everyone in this world seems to use, are very much present in the screenplay. But it wasn't those elements that initially caught the eye of the producer. It was, of course, that dog. Revenge movies are a dime a dozen, but what first stuck out to producer Iwanek was how the screenplay opened by establishing that Wick's now dead wife gave him a dog, originally named who was then killed. That struck a nerve, as Iwanek believed that it would have a deep impact on the audience, beyond the usual dead family revenge cliches. I mean, who doesn't love their dog? The shadow is traveling and is soon being shopped around.
Cover going out.
Mostly, though, to much.
I got your bus in front of you.
John Wick was supposed to be about 75 years old, with Kolstad being Eastwood type. This screenplay even has a scene where it's explained that John
Last player standing.
That might sound strange in retrospect, but it makes a lot of sense considering where the action movie landscape was back in 2010. Liam Neeson's Taken films were still riding high at the box office, and movies like The Equalizer were on the way. Old guy action films were definitely having a real moment. Of course, that element of the script was dropped once Keanu Reeves became interested in the project. Reeves also made the very smart choice to reach out to Chad Stahelski and David Leitch, two stuntmen that he worked with on The Matrix. Reeves had been friends with both of them for years, and knew they both had strong opinions
I will break the balance.
and what Hollywood was and wasn't doing right. Eventually, John Wick was greenlit with a $30 million budget, which isn't all that much for an action movie, especially one attempting to be as visually unique as John Wick. The directors had a very specific
going out
for the look and style.
Grim Seeker.
Shadow is traveling over almost everything else, opting to shoot on location.
One enemy remaining.
Instead of cheaper alternatives. New York didn't make it easy, since the action had to be done as non-intrusively as possible, which meant that cars couldn't even go over the speed limit
Not ready yet.
filming. But the location definitely ended up being worth it, lending a sense of scale and credibility to Wick's heightened, well-designed world that
Nice shot.
Filming went relatively smoothly, outside of the miserably cold
Activating
climax,
kill
which
mode.
was apparently just
That's a
awful
joke.
to shoot.
Kill
But
mode
for
is
producer
default.
Basil Iwanick, things were close to spiraling out of
They
control. Turns out he wasn't
so
actually
they're,
used to putting together film financing himself, and the financiers were proving so unreliable that he considered canceling the entire movie a week before shooting began. And even when it started, he was pretty uneasy, saying, "When you
I will be their nightmare."
Brooding in his pajamas around the house, getting a dog and pouring coffee and
I
looking
have the
longingly
spike.
out a window, you're like, is someone gonna shoot somebody? What's going on here?" But it was the
Cover
first
going out.
and shooting
Block
John's
sight.
conversation
Shadows
with Todd
traveling.
early on
Enemy A.
convinced him that the doctors knew exactly what they were doing.
Enemy spotted A.
World wearing.
Spike planted. My ultimate is ready.
I love movie history. Shooting for maximum visual sequences with cinematography.
Last player standing.
They saw as the cam confusing style of many
Dude, they're just gonna
2000s
keep
action
forcing.
films. And production designer Dan Lee came in with incredibly specific and inspired ideas when it came to the look of this underground world of assassins. But I think the most unsung hero of John
Really
Wick
not that
may
great,
be
especially
editor
because
Elizabeth
meaningless.
Ronald's daughter. Before Wick,
as well
she
give them.
done TV movies and very, very low budget dramas. So not only was she working in a new genre, but there was also no money for reshoots, so the footage which she had was really it. And she went to work in a big way, carving out a lot of dialogue from the film that she deemed unnecessary. She believed
Jack,
the
can you
lack
watch while I
of
get orb?
dialogue had his effect, saying, "I think that's one of his charms. He becomes this mysterious figure." She also made the
Alright, I got
choice for
you.
John's gravy, like his
it,
dog, and just
No, you got no
everything
gun, bro. You
before
might as well
the
just
action
get it.
starts should be shaved down
Oh,
as
go
much
ahead,
as
get it.
possible, when it was originally nearly a 30-minute long part of the film. According to her, quote, "We're not making an action movie / kitchen drama. We're
There's
elevating
two
the action
B-Link.
drama. You go into it knowing it has to be precise." Her work paid off
let's push him by himself.
immediately, with a now far leaner cut of the film
First shot,
showing
amen.
a couple test audiences who loved the movie, leaving the production team confident that they had a movie with big potential on their hands.
Last player
So, they
standing.
set up screenings for film executives right away, in the hopes of landing a pretty big distribution deal. But to put it mildly, according to Iwanick, quote, "It was a disaster. In fact, there was a Fox acquisition executive that was sitting in the middle seat of the middle row that got up like half an hour into the movie and walked out because he hated it. We didn't get one offer for the movie." Now, they did eventually land a deal with Lionsgate, but it was for no money up front and without even a
30
guarantee
seconds
that the
left.
film would be
I hope you
released
get that.
theatrically. By that point, it seemed that producer
Insect.
Iwanick was thinking of Wick as almost a liability, since it seems so
Right planet.
They will cover.
saying all I could say was, "Okay, come out, play on streaming, or
One enemy remaining.
at least I have some target. As long as I get
We got
through
one.
John Wick where no one notices, who cares?" That seems nuts in hindsight. Compared to the executives who
Nice try.
was on a real cold streak at the top. With his directorial debut, The Man of Tai Chi, and the expensive fantasy action epic 47 Ronin, both flopping at the box office. Critics, though, really ended up disagreeing
Let's
with
make a
those
plan,
execs about
then
Wick,
execute.
as the film went on to be extremely well reviewed and overperformed at the box office against pretty modest expectations. Now, it didn't immediately set the world on fire or anything, but it was a textbook word-of-mouth hit, with it having a long life after it left theaters. Personally, I saw it at the Dollar Theater in Orlando a few weeks after its release and was kind of blown away. You know, it was actually the same theater I saw 47 Ronin in, and the two movies really couldn't have
Get
been
out of
more
my
different.
way!
With John Wick feeling like the exact breath of fresh air that the action genre needed. Films that came after it would try similar things, like Nobody, which was also written by Derek Kolstad, or Atomic Blonde, which was directed by Wick's
Cover going out.
The John Wick franchise has proven
Cover
to be
going out.
untouchable when it comes to staging action. It marked the way for Keanu Reeves' career action stars for the past 30 years.
One enemy remaining.
Pretty fitting that he was responsible for so many important films. not only did he advocate for his former stuntman
Reloading.
to direct, but he also changed its name. He
I'll
apparently
make them
hated
remember.
the title Scorn, and when
They're only
referring to the
human.
film in interviews, would only call it Lionsgate called it
Reloading.
Reloading.
and the title was born. Now, nearly a decade and 4 movies later, it's hard
I'm
to
not back.
imagine it any other way. If there's anything more complex than the lore of John Wick, it's math. And that's why I always used to find it so intimidating growing up. But now, thanks to Billion,
Omen, I'll buy you.
it doesn't
Omen,
have
Omen,
to
Omen,
be
Omen.
that way.
Quest.
It's easier than ever to tell the great job meeting me where I am on these topics. I know for me, the one I love the
Close
most
pillar,
is
close pillar, close pillar.
fundamentals, which hones my skills into a certain kind of math problem that used to really frustrate me. Really makes you tackle math,
Shadows traveling. I have the
AI,
spike.
and neural networks
Word suppressed.
in an interactive way. There's thousands of lessons in it.
Flashbang.
Face your fear!
Fun
Spike
Don't
down,
mind,
B.
don't mind.
work into it. That's what's brilliant. You can really learn and dig into this stuff without breaking the bank or taking out some. So go to
One heaven, one B link.
try it for free with a 30-day free trial, and the first 200 downloads of that link will get
Last player
$20
standing.
annual premium subscription.
One enemy remaining.
Here's a special tip for the fellas and girls who have not already joined Captain Midnight's new 1940 Flight Patrol.
Did you see their faces? Sorry, I should tell them I was ready.
Because we're going to have
They think they know pain. They can't begin to comprehend it. I need this. Thank you.
B link rotating towards B. We don't want to commit to B. Look where me and Omen are at.
The hunt begins. Target sighted me.
There. Grounded.
One's main connector. We have a
Shadows traveling. Prepare for hellfire.
I thought there was a corner. I guess not.
You will not kill my allies!
Connector. 2 spawn.
Last player standing.
What the fuck? Are
They will cower.
One enemy remaining.
Jesus fucking Christ, bro.
Reyna! Damn! Even I couldn't keep up!
Need a drop.
Let's go here.
Who will I spot first?
Sage up.
Enemy spotted A.
2 dugout.
One less.
30 seconds left.
Cover going out. Shadows traveling.
10 seconds left. Last player standing.
Chamber, what are you fucking looking at?
I'll survive a dent or two. Can't say the same for you fragile humans.
Done.
Blocking sight.
Throwing charge.
Spike down A. Last player standing.
We get a pick, we move in. Got it?
They are so dead.
You better hide, old man. Need a drop.
Cutting their
Blocking sight.
Cover going out.
My ult. Watch this.
Watch them run.
Enemy spotted.
Unimportant.
One more CT.
The hunt begins. Knife deployed. One suppressed. Grenade out.
Sage is either heavy. Healing.
One enemy remaining.
Must
Thrifty.
Keep your weapons. This heart is all I need.
Last round in the half.
Spend everything.
Reloading.
Keep nothing.
Let's fly.
Get out of my way!
Shutting them down. One suppressed.
Trap destroyed.
Spike down A. Last player standing. Switching sides.
Stay alive. I want their life, not yours.
Teddy, what are you doing?
I'll keep them quiet.
Care for me.
Enemy lead. Enemy B. Shadows traveling.
Enemy spotted B.
Blinding.
Last player standing.
Catch your breath. Not that I need to, of course. Charlie Mike, let's move.
Hey,
Yeah.
fast heading. Okay. Rotate.
Enemy spotted A.
Multiple targets A. Multiple targets A.
Spike down A. Last player standing. Spike planted.
Attack when they're suppressed. I cut their options, they make mistakes. Focus now. Eyes off me.
B, B, B.
Enemy B. Cover going out.
Spike planted.
Two suppressed. Stealing sight. Throwing charge.
One enemy remaining. Last player standing.
She's fucking tall. She watched me knife. You watched me knife. Fuck this game, dude.
Blocking sight.
Prepare for hellfire!
Gee.
This is nothing. Clutch. I got your backs. Just, you know, from the front. Need a drop.
They forget their place.
Spike down A.
Suppressing. Three suppressed.
Spike planted.
Teleport's ready.
I'd say main. I think it's Brim playing lineup.
Gonna have to tap it to bait out the.
Clock in sight.
Last player standing.
Next. Excuse me, I'm working. This is...
Their backs will be towards at least one of us.
Keep up.
Yeah, all one of them.
Spike down mid.
Both mid. Both mid.
Enemy spotted mid.
Thirty seconds left. One enemy remaining. Spike down A.
I don't die so easily.
Don't get shot. Human brains are hard to replace. I am everywhere.
Watch this.
The hunt begins.
Get out of my way.
Shadows traveling.
Last player standing.
Everyone's motor functions okay? I know humans get tired. Shadows traveling.
Say it, say it.
Away! My ult is ready.
Face your fear!
No one walks away. Multiple targets A.
Spike planted.
Enemy spotted A.
One enemy remaining.
Jay, you could get an ult orb. I'll get a tap.
Thanks. in. Show me where to go.
Dead.
Need a drop. Thank you.
B.
Enemy spotted B.
And a B out.
Bye.
Silence.
One enemy remaining.
3 killed.
Okay. Planning A.
Enemy spotted A.
Sight. Bragging rights if you get first pick.
Keep up.
Cover going out.
Here.
I have them. Enemies B.
See ya.
Spike planted. Last player standing. Thrifty. Match point.
Let's get these idiots.
The hunt begins!
Cover going out.
They will cower!
Stealing sight.
Prepare for hellfire!
Spike planted.
Will not kill my allies.
Grenade out. Come get some. Flash.
Yikes.
One's
My
default.
this. Blocking sight. Blocking sight.
She's in your smoke.
One enemy remaining.
Still default.
Last player standing.
No one else could do this?
Clutch. Attackers win.